Hey guys, and welcome back to the channel Platinum Bricks 95, and we're back again with another Lego Marvel review. However, this time we're doing things a little bit differently. As you can see to my right, we've got each wave of the mini mechs that have come out. Now there's been 9 in total, and what I thought we'd do is do one video on all of the ones that are out at the moment, and then if they do release any more, we'll get that wave as well and we'll review the entire wave, because I think these sets individually wouldn't necessarily make the longest video or make the most interesting video. Now I could be wrong, but it's just not the sort of content I want to make, short form videos. For some reviews that's going to happen, but for this one I figured it would be better to just do them all together. And as you can see here, we've got Iron Man, Thanos, Spider-Man, Miles Morales, Captain America, Thor, Iron Man again, Wolverine and Black Panther. And in the review, what we will be doing is essentially going by wave and doing 3 at once. So we're going to take a look at Iron Man, we're going to take a look at Thanos, and we're going to take a look at Spider-Man first, and then so on and so forth for the subsequent waves. I do also want to say that these sets cost £9 each in the UK, and now you might think, oh, that's quite a lot of money you've spent on them there. Not really, because in the grand scheme of things, it's actually a really good price point for Lego. I think personally, I could be wrong, but I do think it's a good price point for Lego. So guys, without further ado, I've babbled on for long enough as per usual. Let's get right into reviewing the sets. Let's go! Alright guys, well here we are looking at the actual Marvel mechs. Now this is the first wave and it came out in 2020. That's when it originally came out, and we've been getting 3 mini mechs a year since then. So I'm very happy about that. The first thing I want to say about these mini mechs before we even take a look at any of them is that this first wave is definitely the most structurally sound, I think is the fairest way to put this, because as you will see later on, the builds get a bit more flimsy, and also the ball joints, I don't know if this is a fault of Lego or if it's a fault of the design, but they just do not support the weight. A lot of them are top heavy, but we'll get into that as time goes on. So the first one I want to look at is probably my least favourite, and that is the Spider-Man one. So we'll take a look at the mech, but we will take a look at obviously minifigures first. You know how it goes by now, guys. So this is the Spider-Man. Now this is the Spider-Man that released in 2020, so it's very common. There's nothing special about it. This is a very common Spider-Man you find in a bunch of sets. So we won't take too long looking at him, but obviously most Spider-Man minifigures are pretty cool. I mean, obviously the face printing's gorgeous, the back and torso printing's very nice, and they always do the colours right. It's a shame because I think this Spider-Man also has a version where half of his legs are red as well, and I do prefer that version, but this version isn't terrible. So the first thing I do actually want to show you on the mech is that, as you can see here, there is a place for him to stand, so he doesn't actually he doesn't just stand in there loose. He is held in there. Now this is the actual mech. Now it does look pretty cool, I won't lie. I do like the sort of underneath his hands, he's got the shooting of the webs on both sides, which I think is pretty cool, and he's got sort of his Iron Spider look on the back, which I'll be honest, whilst looking good, is just annoying. It just gets in the way all the time, which I think is a real problem. And again, trying to angle it at a place where it looks pretty cool as well is actually quite difficult, to be honest with you. But on a whole, this mech is very good. And I mean, all of these mechs are very good, by the way, because legit, I can't moan at Lego that costs £9 and has this much sort of variety and playability. The colour scheme's very good. Obviously, you're getting your bang for your buck. And as I've said, these mechs, this wave, are incredibly structurally sound. So I'm not going to complain about that at all, because you will see later on, the other ones just fall over and it's really annoying. But we've had a little look at Spider-Man now, so we'll go on to my second favourite one of the wave, and that is Iron Man. And again, we will take a look at the minifigure first. Oh, I will say, he doesn't have any projectiles that fire, by the way. Spider-Man doesn't. He's just as he comes. Okay, now I'm not sure if this is an exclusive Iron Man. If you know, please let me know in the comments, as I haven't done my research. Legit. So this is Iron Man, and I think it's one of the earlier sort of versions, or not earlier, because I think the one-piece helmet has been around for a while, but I think it's one of the first ones that brought it back. Now, I do prefer the two-piece helmet. I think it looks better, but I do like the sleekness of this, because the other one does have the rigidity of having two pieces, obviously. But not bad. This helmet, I'm not going to complain at this helmet at all. So taking a look at the torso, it's obviously most Iron Man figures are gorgeous, aren't they? They just look very accurate, and I do love the gold on this. They haven't used too much. They haven't overdone it, because I don't like Iron Man minifigures that are completely gold. But that's just my personal preference. And again, obviously, we've got the back printing on the torso, none on the legs, but it doesn't really matter. Most of these minifigures, I would imagine, would stay in their mechs, but it is what it is. If you're playing with it as a kid, you might get the minifigures out and swap them around and stuff, but if he's in the mech, you're not really going to see his torso or his legs, which isn't really a problem. Again, the classic Tony Stark with his visor on that face, and on the back face he's just got his normal face, which is pretty cool, because he does have a reversible or sort of dual molded head, which I do really like. Now, again, same thing to put him in here, no issue. He's held in tight, which is really cool. Now, I do actually really like this mech, because I feel like he's sort of been done, I think he's been done in the right way. I don't think he's overdone or anything. He's a bit bulky, but you know, we've had that many Hulkbusters over the year that I find it hard not to compare this to Hulkbusters, but I think it's pretty good. I mean, if you look at the, again, main thing for me, if I can pose him and stand him up and he's not going to fall over or feel like he's going to blow over every time the wind comes in, it's awesome. I much prefer that. I'm also a big fan of this printed tile. It is a printed tile, it's not a sticker, so that's winning, because printed tiles are hella rare, whereas down here you can see that on the feet it is stickers, unfortunately. Now, one of the cool things on this is he does have a gun which fires studs, which is pretty cool. It's nothing exciting, but it just sort of, when I say it fired studs, it sort of trickles them out, which is a bit disappointing. But I love the use of the gold. I like the elbow pieces as well. Elbow pieces, shoulder epaulets, if you would. But yeah, on a whole, not terrible. But as you'll see later on, the Iron Man that came later, I prefer that one much more. But that is subject to opinion, I guess. Now I'll get rid of those studs, and now we go on to what is definitely the coolest mech from this wave, and if not the coolest mech from this wave, the coolest mech out of all of them, because it is Thanos with his Infinity Gauntlet. Now let's just take some time to appreciate how gorgeous that Infinity Gauntlet is. It does look accurate. Obviously his hand is way bigger than his other hand, but that is what it is, and to get all the colours on, he had to do it like that. Now the hand is giant, as you can see as I break him, but you can see the hand is giant, but I actually think it's a pretty good look. I think it adds to the build overall, because then you get some form of like, wow, he's really powerful and he's got his massive Infinity Gauntlet on, and I do really like that. Now I've jumped the gun and realised that I haven't actually shown you the minifigure yet, so we'll sort of start with the minifigure now, I guess. So this is the Thanos minifigure. Again, I don't know if this is an exclusive minifigure. I'm not entirely sure. Again, we waited so long for Thanos, and now we're getting loads of him. So, you know, I really like the gold helmet though, and I do actually really like his torso and leg printing. Now I can already tell you on the back, he's got torso printing and no back leg printing. But from a £9 set, you sort of expect that. So I'm happy that, again, him and Iron Man have both had leg printing, which I think is a real bonus. Now, I wouldn't think he would have had a dual molded head, but we'll have a look. And no, he doesn't, unfortunately. He just has his angry look. But I still think that's pretty cool, and I think it sort of fits for Thanos. Again, same mechanism to get him in. He's got the little thing split between his legs, and then he is held in place. Now I'm going to close it down because I much prefer it when it's sort of looking like a fist. as opposed to, you know, I don't know, him high-fiving someone or waving to someone. But yeah, oh, I've pulled it apart. Literally, I touched this set and it's falling apart. So let's put him back together, see how we go. There we go. Now, taking a look at the mech properly this time, it's very similar. These three are the first ones that came out, so you wouldn't expect them to be perfect. But what they are is a good template for the later ones. And again, I feel like the later ones might be more detailed, but they're definitely not as structurally sound, which is a real important thing for me. I like things to be structurally sound, not flimsy. But we do have quite a lot of stickers here. Now, I will say that this is a printed piece. The piece on his torso is printed, so that is pretty cool. But arms and legs, they are stickers, which is a shame. But I really do love the use of gold on this set, and I think gold is a color that we don't get a lot of in Lego, so every time we do get gold, it's always a good thing. You can't really complain at it. And again, these are different gold colors to sort of this and this, but you know, you can't complain at that because it just does look very cool. So guys, that was a look at the very first wave of mini mechs. What I'm going to do about reviewing these, or giving them a rating out of 10, is I'll give each wave a rating at the end and then give an overall rating on mini mechs as a whole. But all of that will be in the outro, so don't worry about that. Anyway, let's get on to wave 2. Okay then guys, well, taking a look at the second wave of mini mechs here. Firstly, I'm going to give a big shout out to my best mates Barry and Bethany for actually buying me Thor and buying me Captain America for my birthday. I really do appreciate that because these sets are retired, so they did actually pay more money for them. Now, whether or not they're going to be happy with what I say about them is another, you know, yeah. Anyway, we'll get into looking at the wave. Also, I've linked Barry's Instagram at the top of the description for some reason. He did ask me to do it, and he hasn't posted since like 2018, so go and give him a follow, guys. It'll be really good. So, guys, starting with, I think we'll start with Thor this time. I wouldn't say he's my least favourite. It's hard to pick out of Miles Morales and Thor which is second and which is third in this way, because Captain America is obviously number one because I'm a massive fanboy. But anyway, we'll start with Thor, I think. And as you can see, the problem I keep referring to is happening in front of your very eyes. He literally is so flimsy. But we'll take a look at the minifigure first. I've broken the mech, but I'll put him back together in a minute. So, this is the Thor minifigure that you get with this set. And firstly, it's a very nice Thor minifigure. It's almost completely silver, which I really do like. And I am a big fan of this Thor helmet, which I will call from now on the Jane Foster helmet, because she's the one who seems to wear it the most. But yeah, taking a look at this minifigure, obviously you get the printed torso on the front and you get the printed torso on the back, which is always nice. I really do like it. Helmet's great. Colouring's great. All right, no back printing on the legs, but we've come to expect that now. And he does just have the sort of new Thor minifigure face. He's got the smile on that side and the thunder version on that side, which is, again, very nice, very nice. So guys, taking an actual look at this mech, first thing I want to say is the colours are very good, very accurate, and I am a huge fan of the hammer. I really like, I'm assuming that's meant to be Mjolnir and not Stormbreaker, but I really do like Mjolnir, and I love, again, it's a shame, all of these are stickers. That is a letdown, I'm not going to lie. It does come, see, this is the problem with this set. It's literally happening in front of your eyes. They just got flimsier and flimsier as time went on. So, the hammer is very nice. But here is the issue mainly with this. This is so loose. And again, shout out to Dead Bricks, because I watched his review on this and he had a similar problem. And it's just so flimsy. Like, you put him down, he just does the splits and falls over. And again, I don't know whether it's because he's so top heavy. And you do have cool red on the back, which is meant to represent his cape, which is nice. And again, no stickers on the leg, which is cool. A bit of stickers on the side. But, I mean, to have a mech that's meant to be posable and playable that literally just is so flimsy and doesn't support the weight well and just falls over. Like, I can position him to stand up. I can do it, but it's few and far between. And you can just see
he wants to fall over. Like you can see, if you don't position this right, he just tilts forward and tilts backward. And this is a recurring theme as the waves have gone on and as these have continued to release. It's become a real problem in my opinion. On a whole, I'd say that Thor isn't terrible. I mean, looks wise, he looks very good. And as you can see, sort of, they've become less and less bulky as the series has gone on and on, which I do like. But I don't think this is structurally, not structurally sound. I just think it's let down by the ball joints here. They're just really flimsy. Now, I don't know whether it's the ball joint or the actual connector, but I'm assuming it's the ball joint. And it's just literally, just wants to flop about. Anyway, we'll move on to the next one. So guys, moving on to Miles Morales. Now, first things I want to say is this looks awesome. It does look the part. But we will start, of course, with the minifigure. So, taking a look at Miles Morales. Now, I personally really like this minifigure. I think it looks really cool. I'm not entirely sure what that's meant to represent, but it's there. And they told me in the instructions to put it in, so I put it in. Yeah, firstly, dual molding on the legs. We love dual molding and we love printed legs because they are few and far between, and it just is great to finally have one in this wave of sets. Now, when I got this headpiece, I was like, what's that? I've never had this headpiece before. Never. But when I put it on, it just does work. It does look like a hoodie. It does what it's meant to. Now, we'll take a look at the head, and as I've said before, most Spider-Man or Spider-Man characters are done very well, and this one, obviously, is no exception. I mean, it's a beautiful, detailed headpiece, but the torso is where he really shines. Now, you wouldn't have thought I'd said that with him having dual-molded legs, but look at his torso. It's awesome, and the back as well. I love this print on the back. It's really good. So, yeah. All in all, I'm super happy with this minifigure. Whereas the Mech actually might be just a bit more structurally sound than Thor. Maybe a bit. Now you can see here, his legs and feet are completely different to Thor's, as you can see, and all of the other ones that have preceded him. I will say, this is pretty, like the ball joints on this are pretty good. Like, they don't flop around a lot, which is good. However, because the legs are so thin, it comes into that problem again where the top is too heavy and it's just not well balanced, and that is annoying when it comes to sets. However, aesthetically, it's gorgeous. It really is. The color combinations are good. I love the use of the blue web pieces, sort of translucent blue. I love this printed piece here. The lack of stickers on this set as well is a huge plus for me. And of course it's broken. They all break eventually. Essentially, I love this. I love how this is done, how this sort of clicks into this piece here, and it does look like he's shooting a web, which I think is really cool. And you can actually make him do the actual Spider-Man thing, which I do actually really like. So on a whole, I would actually say this is my second favourite in the entire wave. Of this wave anyway. It's definitely better than Thor, and it definitely looks better than Thor, and definitely holds sort of, actually manages to stand up better than Thor. But we're going to move on to my favourite of the entire wave. Now, it does suffer with problems, but I'm talking more aesthetically. So, here is the Captain America minifigure. Again, I don't think it's exclusive, but it could be. I'm not entirely sure. Firstly, I'll say I really love the chest piecing. I really do. Printing, not piecing, printing. I love the chest printing. I think it's really cool, and I think it looks really good. And on the back as well, very nice. Very good, well printed. And again, just a well-balanced torso, which I do like. Shame about the legs not being dual molded or printed, but you can't have everything. Now, the helmet, first of all, I love this Captain America helmet. I know some people prefer him when his sort of head is printed, but I actually prefer him with the helmet. So, oh, we got in focus, there we are. Right, that is what his head looks like on that side, and he does actually have a dual molded head, so we'll turn that around and we'll try him on with the helmet, which is what I'm assuming the helmet's meant to tie into. And it does look very good. So on a whole, I'd say this minifigure is very good. It's not as good as Miles Morales. That has been the best minifigure of this entire video, in my opinion. But it's still a good minifigure. Now, moving on to the mech. Again, all of these come with the same. They're all pretty much similarly built and structured, right? First thing I'm going to say is let's just take a look at the back, the shield. It's awesome, and it does look very good, and he can actually use it in his hand if he wants to, which I'll quickly demonstrate now. So guys, this is what he actually looks like with the shield on, but I actually do prefer him with the shield on the back, but some of you may prefer him with the shield on the front, which I can totally understand. I am just going to take that off and pop it back on the back. It is pretty cool. It's literally just Lego pieces. There's no Technic involved, which I do like. I am a fan of that. That's a bit loose. Again, so going on to the torso, I'm a big fan of this printed tile piece. This is printed. There's barely any stick. In fact, I don't think there's any stickers in this set, which is a real bonus. And of course, like Thor, which I didn't actually mention, he does have a place for the minifigure to put his actual accessory, which is cool. However, we're going to get on to the same problem that Thor has. This man just loves to do the splits, literally. Like, he's so, literally, like, look, flimsy, not good enough. Like, I just can't deal with things that are meant to be posable and standing up not being able to do that, or having to position them only in a certain way. That's a real problem. It's annoying. It really is annoying. But aesthetically, this is an awesome mini mech. I do actually really like it. I am a huge fan of how it looks, and I'm a huge fan of how the build turned out. It's just a shame that the ball joints are again letting him down. Now, I'm not sure whether this is top heavy. It must be top heavy, but literally, honestly, you knock him, he just does the splits, and it's so annoying. So yeah, on a whole, it's not terrible, I'll give you that, and it is my favorite looking, surely, of the wave. Now, that may be because I'm such a Captain America fanboy, but you know, probably is actually. So guys, that was a quick look at the second wave, and we'll get into the third, final, and currently in retail wave of mini mechs. So guys, here we are taking a look at wave 3 of the mini mechs, and I will start by saying these are definitely the most detailed of all of the mini mechs so far. Obviously, these are in retail right now, so you can go and buy them if you want to, but I think we're going to start with Iron Man, considering we've already had an Iron Man. So this is the new Iron Man, and I will get the other one for a comparison in a minute, but we're just going to take a quick look at the mech in general, which is very nice. And then we will start, obviously, with the minifigure. And again, I will get the other minifigure for comparison. So I thought I'd quickly just show you the other Iron Man, the first wave Iron Man. As you can see, it's much more red, as was the mech. And I think that's a lot to do, you know, this is why this one's gold, because this mech, as you can see, is much more gold. But that's the comparison, and that's the back comparison. Pretty similar, to be honest, just gold and maroon. That's the only difference. So again, it does come with the one piece helmet, but almost an updated version, and a version that I'm becoming a big fan of slowly. This is very nice. It's a very nice helmet, I would say that. Also, quick look at his head. It's the same Tony Stark head we've been getting for years and years now. It's exactly the same. There's no changes. So, into the torso. It is actually mainly gold, but it does have a splash of maroon in there. Now, I'm not overly keen on the entire gold, but I do like the torso. I think the torso is very nice, and the printings on the torso is very nice. Getting into the legs, again, I always love printed legs, but gold, it had to be gold, didn't it? I just don't like gold minifigures. Maybe that's just me. Maybe it's Mr. Gold coming back and haunting me from all those minifigure series ago. But yeah, I'm just not the biggest fan of the golder Iron Mans. I prefer the red look, personally. But when we're taking a look at the mech, he does just slot in there, which is nice. I'm just going to quickly bring in the other Iron Man mech so we can have a bit of a looks comparison. And as you can see here, this one's much more chunky and bulky and uses probably a lot more pieces and is much more unrefined compared to the new one. But I thought I'd just give you a look at them so you can see what they look like in comparison. So, taking an actual look at this mech. As you can see, again, a lot more gold incorporated on this, which, you know, is for some people. It's not for some people, you know. I will say again, this is a printed piece, I believe it is. However, the feet, again, are stickers, and the hands are, well, one hand is a sticker. The other one doesn't have a sticker. I don't like this. I'm just going to be flat out honest and be like, I don't like it. I think kids might like it, but I really don't. I think it looks stupid. And maybe that's just me. Maybe you could flip it around. Let's actually do that right now. So as you can see, guys, I switched it around and it doesn't look any better in my opinion. It's just, this is very not, I don't like it. I don't like it. I don't know why it's necessary to be there. I understand it's meant to represent a shield, but it's not good in my opinion. Anyway, this is pretty cool. This gun underneath his hand, so it's like he's almost shooting. I do actually really like that, and I'll give you a little demonstration now. I think you press that, or do you push it that way? Or do you push it the other way? I don't know. Oh, okay. Now that does fire. Luckily, it only fired over here, but that fires so much better than the first Iron Man we saw. Anyway, on a whole, I would have to say that this is my least favourite of this wave, but it's probably in the top 5 out of all of them, to be honest with you. So, we'll actually take a little look at my second favourite from this wave, Black Panther. Now, this is very, very, very cool, this minifigure. This mini mech. It looks awesome, and obviously we will start with the minifigure, but I just want you to get some appreciation on how good this looks. All right, so taking a look at the minifigure, I'm not entirely sure again if this is an exclusive Black Panther, but it's actually pretty cool. I like the subtlety of it. I like the fact that it's not bright purple or bright blue. I think Killmonger was gold, but this is like almost returning to the original Black Panther. I know it's not the original Black Panther we got from Civil War, but it's a very, very cool Black Panther. Now, one of the coolest things about this minifigure, so just give you a look at the head and the torso, sort of back and front printing. So the cool thing I was telling you about, guys, is this minifigure does actually come with a different head for, I'm assuming, Black Panther. And it's not a dual molded head by any stretch of the imagination, but I will say this, it's very, very cool. And I like the fact they've included a spare head for the minifigure in this set, you know, a £9 Lego set. I'm not going to complain at that. I think it looks really cool. I think it's meant to be Chadwick Boseman's Black Panther, and it looks pretty accurate and it looks pretty cool. So we'll take a look at the actual mech, but I'm going to replace the Black Panther head because I want it to look like that when he's in the mech. Again, the same slide-in thing. Now, firstly, I do like this screen for Black Panther. However, I appreciate that they haven't put it on any of the other mechs. I think it looks stupid on the other ones, but it works for him. The hands are awesome. Like, genuinely, there's no... This is not even... Oh, it literally broke, as I was about to say. This is not flimsy. Like, even though it's got the weirder legs, sort of the legs that have only been used on this and Miles Morales, it's not flimsy at all. Ball joints are good, doesn't flop about here and there, playability good, and genuinely looks really awesome. So I would go as far to say as if you are just going to buy one of these and you're not like particularly fussed about X-Men or Iron Man and you don't care which one you get Black Panther because it looks awesome. This is a printed piece and there's no other stickers, and literally the minifigure comes with 2 heads and it's not flimsy and it will stay structured, and it's just very good all round. Very, very good. But now we are finally getting on to the one that I really want to talk about, Wolverine. Now, any of you that have watched this channel for since I started uploading again, or even watched some of my older videos, you will know how much I love X-Men. All right, I am an X-Men fanboy, okay? Not the movies, just X-Men in general. For me, when I was a kid, some people had Batman, some people had Iron Man. I had the X-Men. I love the X-Men. So obviously I'm totally biased, and I'm going to tell you that this is the best mini mech to come out yet. And I don't even think it's that biased, to be honest, because I mean, really, apart from maybe Black Panther and Captain America's got his problems, and maybe Miles Morales. Like, no one comes close to this. Like, in terms of the look, in terms of the feel of it, in terms of the fact it's not flimsy, it doesn't flop about, it's very well structured, it has a lot of posability. Just nothing even comes close. Now, we're going to take a little look at the Wolverine. Now, I believe this torso for Wolverine, and maybe this headpiece, I think the headpiece is the same one as the other Wolverine, which we'll get for comparison in a minute. But I think the torso was used on his Mighty Micros. I could be wrong, but that's what I thought it was. But take a look at this sublime minifigure. Firstly, his coil is amazing. It just looks awesome, and it looks like Wolverine. Now, obviously, if you want him to have the white eyes, you will put it on that way. If you're not too fussed about that, you can put it on this way, where he's more smiling. However, they don't give you another hairpiece for him, which is a bit of a pain. But, you know, if you want Wolverine to look like Wolverine, put the white sides on the front. Torso, kind of cool. Would have preferred maybe like a different colour arms. I'm not the biggest fan of vest pieces, but I'm not going to slag this off because I genuinely love this minifigure. And I love X-Men, and I love this mech. So, we're going to plop him in there, and we're going to take a look at this mech. Firstly, let's just admire the claws. The adamantium claws just look amazing, don't they? It just does look like Wolverine. There's so much posability. It's awesome. I love the fact that his shoulder epaulets stick out a little bit, so make him look more bulky. I love this printed piece. I think I'm going to order a bunch of these off Bricklink, because I think genuinely that's going to be used in a mock someday. This is awesome as well. Again, no stickers. That's something I can't stress enough. The less stickers and the more printed pieces you give me, the happier I am. Obviously, this is in from the back. It's far less impressive than the front, like most of them. But on a whole, this minifigure has no ball joint problems, is not flimsy, is structurally sound, has amazing balance all round, and has amazing posability, and just looks really cool. So it's no surprise that he's like my favourite, even though he's an X-Men and I'm very biased towards it. So guys, we've taken a look at all of the mini mechs. Now the only thing left to do is give them a rating out of 10 in the outro. And that's what we're going to do right now.
So guys, that was a quick look and review of all of the Lego Marvel mini mechs that have already come out. Hope you enjoyed it. But we're going to get into the rating now. Now, I'm going to rate these wave by wave, and then I'm going to give you an overall rating on mini-mechs. So, I figured we'd start with the first wave, which obviously included Thanos, Spider-Man, and the first Iron Man. Now, I'm going to give this a 6 out of 10, I think. A 6 out of 10, which is a good benchmark, because they released £9 sets, 3 of them, all with really cool minifigures. Okay, Spider-Man's a bit of a letdown as a whole. But I will say they're quite bulky. They are structurally sound, but they are quite bulky. And I suppose I said great minifigures. Thanos is good. Iron Man's another Iron Man. And Spider-Man is literally the other Spider-Man we get in all the other sets. So maybe I was a bit hasty and jumped the gun on that. But I will say that as a whole, they were very good. And they did sort of... Now they've continued doing it, which is really good. I really am a big fan of these mini-mechs. Wave 2 is where the real problem starts, which is a shame because I actually think the characters are cooler than the characters in Wave 1. Now, I'm going to give Wave 2 a 5 out of 10 actually. A 5 out of 10, which is pretty low. But I will just say it's because of how flimsy they are. Like literally all of them fall over. That's not okay. I don't want my minifigures or things on display to just literally fall over every time I touch them. It's annoying. But Thor's awesome, Captain America's awesome, and Miles Morales is awesome. All of those minifigures are really cool. All of those characters are really cool. It's just a shame that the mechs really let them down with the structure. Like, they just fall over. That's annoying. Don't do that. And as you can see from Wave 3, that didn't happen, and they've sort of mastered it now, I think. I think if they do release more of these mini-mechs, they're only going to get better and better, which is great. So yeah, 6 out of 10 for the first, 5 out of 10 for the second, and we'll get on to the third wave. And again, I'm massively biased, but I'm actually going to give this a 9 out of 10. yeah, definitely some of my bias coming through there. But I am going to give it a 9 out of 10, and I'll tell you for why. Number one, the price. Can't beat £9 for for a Lego set. You just can't. That's great pricing. Two, none of them fall over, which is a real issue. Three, apart from the Iron Man, the other two look awesome. I mean, really good. Iron Man looks fine, but the other two are where it really shines. So Black Panther and Wolverine are amazing. Okay, guys? So, yeah, heavily biased, but I'm an X-Men fan. What are you going to do? So, my thoughts on Mini-Mechs overall are they're pretty good. Yes, all right, they've run into a few teething problems throughout the sort of process of getting to where they are now, but on a whole, I'm going to give Mini-Mechs an 8 out of 10. Because I think, genuinely, if you want to get good Marvel Lego sets for cheap, you can't go further than this. This is the best. This is really good. I mean, cheaper than this, you're going to be buying poly bags, and that's it, or something that isn't Marvel. So 8 out of 10 overall. Alright then, guys, well, that is the end of the video. If you wouldn't mind liking, commenting and subscribing, that would be amazing. I really do appreciate all of the interaction you give me and support you give me on this channel. I really do appreciate it, so thanks a lot. Also, get down in the comments and let me know if you've got any of these, and which one is your favourite, if you do have any. And if I'm talking rubbish, let me know in the comments, alright? But yeah, guys, all that's left to say is thanks for watching. I really appreciate it. Check out my Instagram in the description down below. And I guess I'll see you in the next video. Goodbye.